Isaac, in Hebrew, means laughter. And it's Abraham's son's name because Abraham and his wife laughed at the idea that in their old age that they could conceive a child, and it would be a son at that. For Sarah had been barren for many, many years and was certainly well beyond the age of bearing a child. And yet, they did what the Lord commanded them to do, not thinking it would ever happen, but being amazed when it did. Isn't that what happens to you and to me? We get so tied up with life and what really goes on in the day-to-day course of our lives, and we have an understanding of what things are supposed to be like, and then things don't go the way they're supposed to. And we do one of two things. We throw up our hands, say, oh, there is no God, or why has God done this to me? And we turn away from the Lord. Or we laugh and we say, praise you, Lord, for surprising me and giving me this miracle in my life, and let me see what I can do with this. Lent is a time to turn back to God. Joining ourselves ever closer to the Lord, binding ourselves to His Word, to His sacrament, to His community, the church, is so important. You see, when we separate ourselves out, we're joining ourselves not with God, but with his adversary, Satan. Satan comes to cause us problems. And you see the hand of Satan in something that breaks things down when things don't go like they're supposed to go. Now, I know that in our history, we've heard that certain things are so evil. You know, those bars down the street, that's where Satan's at. You know, but I would suggest to you that Satan is right here and right now, trying to worm his way in. Because, you know, Satan talks real well. Satan has this way of making us think he's our friend, just like he made Adam think that he was his friend and giving him the right advice. And so Satan tries to pick apart and divide us. He tries to say to you and to me that it would be better if we did this. It would be better if we did that. We don't have to listen to what God's telling us to do. We can stand on our own. We don't need to come to a church. We don't need the body of Christ. We don't need sacraments. We can just pray on our own outside in nature. That's true. You can pray yourself outside in nature. But when you have an issue come to your life, you're alone. You have no one to turn to. And in that, he's won. Because then you doubt your belief. Paul tells us today in that letter that we have strength in the church, in the body of Christ. Because through the church, God is made manifest to the world in our unity. Have you ever seen a thread try to sew something? The thread is a single strand, breaks easily. But when you take that strand, perhaps sewing on a button, and you repeat it, and you repeat it, and you repeat it, and that thread binds together, not so easy to break anymore because there's strength in those numbers. Jesus Christ died for you and for me. In the strength of our numbers, we can withstand the attacks of the evil one. We can be faithful to what God calls us to do. But it takes unity. It takes firm commitment. And it also takes a little risk, because God sometimes asks us to do what we think is impossible. But as Sarah and Abraham found out, nothing is impossible to God. And little Isaac, laughter was the proof for them. And he should be the proof for us. So laugh a little. Believe in God. Try the impossible. Draw closer to him this Lent through the Word, through sacrament, and through your fellowship with each other.